Hey guys, Krootman here. It is 4:38 a.m. on September 5th, 2024, and I can't sleep, so let's go over the news that broke last night or this morning, depending on where you live, because it's sure a doozy, and I'm going to be quite honest with you, I don't like it. So stay tuned after a quick word from our sponsor. This video is brought to you by Crypto Miner Bros, your one-stop shop for all home ASIC mining needs. Now, the thing I like best about Crypto Miner Bros is their prices are all shipped to your door. There are no hidden fees, and you're only paying what is listed. And you can use code Krootman with 2 zeros for $70 off your next purchase. My current ASICs of choice are the Ice River AL0 as a good introductory miner into lithium, and the Jazz Miner X16 QE, as I think both of these are cheap introductory miners, and in the case of the Jazz Miner X16 QE, ETH hash ASICs generally last a lot longer than other ASICs because you can mine more than one coin on them. So thank you to Crypto Miner Bros for sponsoring this video, your one-stop shop for all ASIC mining needs, and use code Krootman with 2 zeros for $70 off your next purchase. So unless you've been living under a rock these last 24 hours, which maybe you have because we've just finished up the holiday and kids are going back to school and everybody has lives outside of YouTube and crypto, you may or may not know that RXD posted an announcement in their Discord, and I'm scrolling right now, but the entity decided to finally reveal itself. And yesterday, September 4th at 4:01 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, they said that the ASICs were coming soon in about a week's time. Well, fast forward to, I don't know, less than 12 hours later, 9 hours later, and the entity decided to reveal itself. I just couldn't sleep, and I usually don't actually keep my phone with me at my bedside because I don't like to check it, but it was dying last night, so I charged it on my charger, and I picked up my phone and I saw this announcement. Dear Radiant community, and it goes on to talk about a dual ASIC miner. Now, I've never heard of a dual ASIC miner before because, ASIC stands for Application Specific Integrated Circuit. Application specific. This new ASIC miner, which apparently is developed by Dragon Ball, which is the entity, I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't see that one coming, can mine radiant and lithium. Besides the fact that this rollout sounds super shady because they couldn't even wait a week. Like, why wouldn't you wait a week? I've never seen an ASIC that can do 2 different coins at the same time. I mean, that doesn't even make sense in my head. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. Guys, if you've been following my channel a lot, you know that there are certain things that I don't believe in, especially when it comes to crypto. If it's too good to be true, certainly I wouldn't believe it. And an ASIC that can do 2 different coins at the same time, it just doesn't, something seems off, guys. I'm going to be totally honest with you. And this, I could be totally wrong, and I'm not an expert here, but something just seems off about this whole thing. And look, we've bemoaned ASIC practices for a long time, right? When Caspa came in, people didn't like the way Ice River handled it at first. When Lithium came in, people didn't like the way Gold Shell handled it. Thinks that ASIC companies pump up the price of the coin to sell their ASICs, and I've certainly said the same thing, and I believe that happens. But at least the other ASIC companies are somewhat honest about it. You don't see 6-month-long pre-mine. And look, I am biased as I do have a working relationship with Gold Shell, Ice River, and I'm working on establishing working relationships with some other ASIC companies as well. So I do want to, incorporate that bit of bias in there. But you don't pre-mine for over 5 months before you release a product to the public. But this is like a whole new ball game of shady, and like this takes the crypto game to a whole new level, and I frankly don't like it. Let me take 5 minutes to explain why I don't like it, or maybe even less. So it's going to involve a brief history lesson. So Radiant had its halvening at about basically the same time Bitcoin did, on April 16th, 2024. So about 142 days ago, according to Mining Pool Stats. And if you look at the RXD hash rate chart, if we go to about April 24th, I know this because I was soloing RXD for a while. The hash rate from April 23rd, right right after the halving, conveniently timed if you ask me, the network hash rate went up from 63 terahash to 13 terahash, essentially quadrupling the network hash rate conveniently as the coin yield halved, basically knocking every single GPU off of Radiant in one fell swoop. So that is when it looks like the entity, or what is now known as the entity, basically took control of the Radiant network. And of course, conveniently, once the entity took control of the network, we'll say right before the halvening, right? The Radiant price spiked a little bit to 0.0023 cents. Once the entity took control, look at where the price tanked. It kept going down and down and down as I just kept mining and selling to basically June 1st, when the price of Radiant went down to 0.00073. The price basically got destroyed. The volume got killed with it, as you can see on this price chart. Basically, the entity owned Radiant at that point. All right, so fast forward to July of this year, right before the holiday, so midsummer, and the entity has firmly had control of the Radiant network for a few months now, right? And then you see this post from the Radiant Discord, and it was on Twitter, and it caused kind of a firestorm. And basically, this seems like, to me, I read this as RXD essentially conceding. They're talking about a major ASIC manufacturer where they first referred to it as the entity who wanted to remain anonymous, and they basically are telling you that they've given up essentially, and they're taking 10% of the block rewards to their community fund. So yeah, I mean, everybody's basically saying how shady it looks, and it doesn't really look too good. And of course, we see a further price spike, and basically this is when they made this announcement, Radiant was basically at the lowest it was ever had been. I feel like, in my personal opinion, this was basically Radiant just waving the right flag, saying the entity owns us and we're trying to keep the project from collapsing. Trying to save themselves. I can't fault them for that. So fast forward to now, and we had a short dip in the Radiant hash rate as it looked like the entity was crashing some of the Carlson coins, and we also know the entity was on Lithium for a bit before Bitmain, Ice River, and Goldshell basically knocked it off. So the entity basically stayed in control of the hash rate throughout the summer, and somehow the network hash rate rose even higher than before. We're at about 265 terahash as the price went even lower. What I'm saying is the entity couldn't make any money off of it because they just kept piling ASICs onto the hash rate, and the price kept going down as nobody's buying Radiant right now. So conveniently, after they make this announcement over the past 24 hours, look at the price of Radiant. We are up 84% in 7 days, 60% in 24 hours, and year to date we're only down 37%. Keep in mind that the price of Radiant before the halving was almost double what it is now. Okay, so we have a few things here that don't look very, very good at all, and honestly, I don't like it. We have a brand new ASIC announcement, number one, right? Conveniently at the time when the network hash rate is the highest and the price was at its lowest, which means the entity probably wasn't making any money anymore. We have the price going up 60% in one day, conveniently after the ASICs are announced. And we basically know that they've been pre-mining with these ASICs for months now. You're talking, I don't know if they were prototypes or if they were the similar model, but they've had these ASICs on the network for over 5 months now. By the time these things get released, it'll be about 6 months worth of a pre-mine, which smells terrible. And on top of that, we have this new claim where they can do a Lithium and Radiant, and yet they can't do the same on both of them. Like, why, if you can do 3.2 terahash on Radiant, why can you only do 1.2 terahash on a Lithium? It smells really fishy. At 2300 watts, it almost seems too good to be true. If it looks bad and it smells bad, which both of these things do, then it's bad. I am not a fan of this at all. It smells very fishy, and I personally don't know much about Dragon Ball, but they've been so obviously blatantly upending the system that has been in place, which crypto is technically a system changer or an upender, which makes sense. But like, I don't like this, guys. I don't have a good feeling about this. And this is coming from a biased perspective, as I work with ASIC brands. I have an RXD bag that I would very much like to see pump back up to pre-halvening levels so I can sell it and make some money off of it. And I still don't like this, guys. Even if I am sent one of these ASICs, I don't even know if I could ever recommend these, honestly. And I'm going to go on record right now saying that I don't think I would ever recommend these because it just doesn't smell right. The Caspin network hash rate has gone through the moon. We just broke a petahash, and a lot of miners who bought over the summer got burned, me included, with a KA Box Pro. You know, the Lithium network is going higher than we pictured, faster than we thought, although, you know, there will be a lot of price action on Lithium, in my humble opinion, and it certainly isn't behaving the same way as RXD. ASICs feel like they're changing right now, and that's okay because markets change and things change, but this is a step too far for me. This is a road too far. This doesn't feel good, and I don't like it, guys. You know, I just showed you a bunch of data that kind of shows that this is fishy and this doesn't look right. And in my opinion, you should stay far away from this, far away from these things. So, you know, this was my early rant. It is now 4:56 a.m. in the morning on September 5th. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe for more content like this. Look, I know sometimes people don't like some things that I cover, but I want to let you guys know that I am always honest and I will always be forthright. And if I see something that smells fishy, I'm going to warn you about it. So thanks again for watching. Hit that sub button, smash that like button. Krootman is out.